There was a man. There was a man. He was so jaded by life, tossed around here and there, finding no peace or tranquility within himself, but longing for this, as it is for so many. He found his way to a monastery, and there the old and wise abbess gave him practices, meditative practices. He found solace in them, but always after this he found that his heart was not at peace, not satisfied. So all that had been given to him to follow only worked for a short space of time. But still he came, hoping above hope that sometime, someday, one of these practices would work so that he could find the sadness in his heart gone, the deep, deep darkness that lay within his being. But then one day, when he came to the monastery to visit the abbess once again, she said to him, "Now I have a task for you. For 3 years you must fulfill this task, and then you may come back for more instruction." He asked, "What is it that you want me to do?" with hope rising in his heart once again. "Is this it? Perhaps this is it?" The abbess said, "Not far from you there is a hospital, and in that hospital is a place where those babies who are born before their time are kept. There is needed someone who will take care of these infants, for if they do not have nurturing, they die." The man thought this was a very, very strange task to be given, but he trusted the abbess, so he followed her instructions. He volunteered in the maternity ward of the hospital near where he lived. There he found that these tiny little infant beings, at first he was very afraid. They were so fragile, so delicate. When he picked them up, he was terrified. But then something happened. He found that he was breathing for them. He was afraid that their breath would cease. So he began to breathe with them. At first his mind would come in and say, "How can I care for them? How can I help them?" But then he discovered that all he needed to do was to hold them close to him, dear to him. And after some time, something very strange happened. He felt as though the infant that he was holding, and he, this place in which they lay against him, were one. He thought this was very strange, and he cast this thought aside, not like he would have done before, where he would think about this. Why is this? What is happening here? Because he was so needing to be totally and absolutely one. Because unless he was still and held them close to his being, it wasn't there. After some time, the dark place deep in his being, grew lighter and lighter. But then a very strange thing happened. It seemed that when he held these tiny, tiny, fragile creatures close to his being, that they melded into a place within him. That place where it was dark and sad, lonely, frightening, changed. These tiny little beings held close to him, filling him. After these 3 years, he went back to the abbess, and immediately the abbess could see that he was a changed man. There was no longer any darkness within him. There was serenity. There was presence. The abbess gave him further instruction, and it's asked of you, what is it that comes after? What is it that the abbess gave to this being as the wisdom which took him beyond the place of deep, dark sadness within him? And then there's a story of the great Taoist being, Li Tzu. He was the disciple of Lao Tzu, the great author of the I Ching. But there was a time when Li Tzu needed to learn the art of archery. So he practiced and practiced for some years until he learned to hit the target. He then went to the master Wen Tzu to show him what he had attained. And the great master Wen Tzu said to him, "Can you tell me how you hit the target?" And Li Tzu said, "No." So Wen Tzu said, "You must go and learn how you hit the target." After 3 years, Li Tzu went back to Wen Tzu. Wen Tzu asked him, "Do you now know how you hit the target?" Li Tzu said, "Yes." Wen Tzu said, "Now go and learn why you needed to know how you hit the target." What is the relationship? Where do these two stories meet for us? First, what is it that the abbess gave as the instruction following the experience of the transformation of the dark, deep place within our beings into the recognition of how it opens up for us and allows not only the fragile beings that are born before their time, but all of life to enter in. What was it the abbot gave as instruction. And how does this relate to Litsu?